All right, so guys, go ahead and put everything away. We're gonna do the problems on the back. So I'm actually just gonna do the first step of number 8 for you. And then we'll do 9, 10, and 12. So you would cross multiply when you have a fraction equaling another fraction. So you would cross this way. That would give you negative 6x equals, and then when you cross this way, you're going to have to multiply those together. So x times x, the x squared. And then you would have, bless you, 3x and 4x together would give you 7x, good. And then 4 times 3 is 12. It's on Schoology, so I'm going to leave it from there. But what would you do next? We'll just talk through. What would be the next step? Evacuate, make it equal 0. So you would add over the 6x, get it to equal 0, factor it, check your answers, okay? We'll go on to number 9. So for that one, you have to multiply by a common denominator. You can't cross multiply because it's more complicated than that. The first thing you would do is factor this denominator. But hey guys, what's that going to split into? Yeah. Oh my gosh, x plus 2, x plus 5. Huge shock. Not. That's what's in the other 2 fractions. So that is your common denominator. And now I guess you can dig in your heels against this if you want, but my suggestion, my strong suggestion is write x plus 2, x plus 5 3 times. Because if you don't, you won't be able to see what cancels out and what's still there. And if you can't see it, you're going to lose track of stuff. And it's really more about staying organized than being intelligent. Math is like 90% being organized, really. So what cancels for the first fraction? Yeah, all of it. You guys with me here? So you're left with x squared minus 34, just what was there in the first place. Plus, all right, what cancels for the second one? Good. Now you're left with 2 times x plus 5. You would have to distribute, so that will give you 2x plus 10. Good. Equals, and then what cancels for the last one? X plus 5, good. And you would have to distribute the 3, so 3x plus 6. From there, it is just a whole big lot of algebra. I would do the like terms next because it's really long. Negative 34 and plus 10 will go together. That will give us what? Negative 24. And I'm pretty much just copying the rest of that. Just don't do a copy error. All right, then what? Evacuate. You're going to bring it all over so that it equals 0. You girls okay? Press your tongue into the roof of your mouth. All right, so that will give you x squared minus x minus 30 equals 0, and then we're going to factor it. So x and x, and then how would we split up 30? 6 and 5. And you would need minus 6 plus 5. So your 2 potential answers are 6 and negative 5, but you have to check them. If they were a troublemaker back in the original problem, then you have to get rid of them. So let's look back at our original problem. Our troublemakers were negative 2 and negative 5. So we have to get rid of this one. And so you just get x equals 6. All right, now we're going to do 10. You have to write this out yourself. Hey guys, what does sum mean? Plus. So look, I would set it up blank. You're going to have something plus something equals something. Get it together. Something plus something equals something. I'm just going to read it off the paper for you. It says sum of. 3 times a number. How would you write 3 times a number? 3x, good. Plus, it says twice, so that's 2 times something, twice the reciprocal of the number. So remember, the reciprocal of 2 is a half. The reciprocal of 9 is a ninth. The reciprocal of the number is 1 over x. 1x is, and then what does it equal? Read it off your paper. 5, good. So we've got it set up. What is your common denominator? Hint, it's the only thing that's in a denominator. X is the only thing that's in a denominator. So you're going to multiply all of these by x. The point being you want it to cancel. So that's going to give you 3x squared plus. Now what happens here? Yeah, x is canceled, which was the whole point. It'll just be 2 equals 5 times x is 5x. Now what? Evacuate. Minus over the 5x. You want to put it in the middle so that it's in order. And then we're going to factor it. You'll get 2 answers. So how would you split 3x squared? You have 3 and 1. 2 is going to have to be 2 and 1. Now let's check it. What do the outsides give you? 3 times 1 is 3, so 3x. And then the insides, 2x. 3 and 2 makes 5, but to get it to be -5, they need to both be negative. Now, to check that again, a negative times a negative is a positive, and it's a +2 though, so that worked out. So what are our 2 answers? If you set those equal to 0, perfect, 2/3 and 1. Your troublemaker was 0. We did not get 0, so you get to keep both of them. All right, and we'll do one more together. We'll do number 12. So the first thing you're going to have to do with this one is get it so you have 0 on one side. So we're going to subtract over that entire other fraction. That 4 over x minus 1 just gets subtracted to the other side. As a heads up, it's written that way on your test. It'll already have 0 on the one side for you. So that step will be done for you. Now, when you add and subtract fractions, you need a common denominator. They're going to get multiplied by each other. So this one is going to get multiplied by the x minus 1. This one is going to get multiplied by the x plus 3. And this part usually goes well because people know how to distribute. So this part usually goes okay. What do you get for the first one? Good. 2x minus 2. Beautiful. Now here, you're not distributing a 4, but a -4. So if you distribute a -4, it would be minus 4x minus 12. Believe it or not, that, which I think is actually pretty hard, goes great. Here's the problem. People just stop there, and that's it. It means you've lost half the problem. Please try to remember that it is over the x plus 3 and the x minus 1, because if you lose those, it's hard for me to give very much partial credit because you've lost half the problem. Like you've lost half the problem. So it's hard for me to like give more points for that. All right, now we're ready to do our number lines. So you're going to have 1 for x plus 3, 1 for x minus 1, and then 1 for that numerator, but I would put the like terms together because it's quite long. So if you put your like terms together, what do you get from that numerator? Yeah, -2x minus 14. Good. Now you need to think about where those equal 0, and we want to do them in order. I would kind of think about this one first. If you set that equal to 0, what would you get? You would add over the 14. divide by -2. So that one will give you -7. That's going to be the smallest one. We okay? And then the next one will be -3. And then this last one will be 1. I'm trying to save you some time and work here. If nothing weird happened, how can you fill in the number lines? Okay, so do you see how the first two, nothing weird happened? Go ahead and fill in the first two, negative, and then turn positive. If you don't like that, or if you just want to extra check it, you can pick a number smaller than -3, pick a number bigger than -3, and test them and see if they come out positive or negative. Now, why is this one weird? Why is this one like, hey, something weird happened? There's a negative. It's going to just be opposite of that. It'll be positive and then turn negative. But here, I'll show you. Can you give me a number smaller than -7? -8. Just what? Humor me. If you plug in -8 right here, -2 times -8, positive 16 minus 14 is positive. So this side is positive. And if you pick a number bigger than that, it's going to be negative. I heard somebody ask, why is it -7? So can y'all hold on? I did it in my head. I just kind of talked you through it. But if you want to work it out, you take this off to the side, set it equal to 0. What would you need to do to both sides there? Plus 14. There's never anything wrong with doing the work off to the side. Divide by -2, and that's how you get -7. So you can always do it off to the side. All right, now we're going to draw in our little balloon strings. And you're going to figure out the overall sign for the whole thing. As a heads up, it's going to alternate. So once you figure out the first section, it's going to flip-flop. All right. So what is your sign for the first section? Negative, negative, positive. It'll be positive because negatives cancel out. 3 negatives will be negative. And again, like I said, it's going to alternate. And then I'm going to shade in the parts I want to keep. I'm going to shade in the parts I want to keep. It's like shading in your number line. We want everything less than or equal to 0. So which sections do I want? Negatives. We want this one and we want this one. Now the bracket parenthesis part is difficult with this because this symbol indicates you would want what? You would want brackets. But who are your troublemakers? -3 and 1. You cannot bracket -3 and 1. The only one you're going to be able to bracket is the -7. So it'll be bracket -7 to -3, parenthesis, union, and then what's the other one? 1 to infinity. And it's like they should be brackets, but they're your troublemakers, so you can't include them. So the only one you can bracket is the -7.